Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Monday edition of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. I'm Don Cramer with the Cramer Group. Cheers to everyone here this fabulous Monday. Guess who I have joining us today, ladies and gentlemen? The myth, the legend, the lady of sales herself in real estate, Colleen Schaefer.
It feels good to be right here. This is fun. I'm sorry it's been so long. It's
Well,
been a
Colleen,
busy time.
thanks for coming in today. I know you've been really busy because we had some houses we were working through, some buyers and some sellers closing. So congratulations on wrapping those up. So how
There were a few
those all
little challenges.
go well? Tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I'm sorry to this is my first time with you in the new studio. Quite the nice studio, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I do like it a
You
lot.
you quite haven't seen the new digs, have you?
No, this is very, very professional and nice. I'm impressed.
Well,
If
thank you.
if COVID weren't an issue, I'd be in there with you for
That's
sure.
right. You'd be over there. I'd be over there.
I'd be right there, and we just have videos. But anyway, very, very nice. Um, yeah, the challenges in real estate. Sometimes things just go so readily, smoothly, and other times you have to do the tap dance behind the scenes and let everybody believe everything went so smoothly and so beautifully. But we had a closing on the hottest day of the year next. So Wednesday was a 108-degree day. Remember that last week where it just all of a sudden spiked? We were closing on Thursday on a house, and Thursday morning, we went over to make sure everything was good and make sure the AC was down so they'd be comfortable. No AC, none. And they're recording in a couple of hours.
Oh.
So fast forward to the sellers were absolutely phenomenal. Got a hold of their home warranty company, plugging Fidelity Home Warranty, because they had somebody over there in 2 hours and they fixed the AC. So by the time we closed, they didn't even know what happened.
Congratulations.
So it was
Good
beautiful.
for you.
It
I
was
guess a little
it was
shout
very
out to
nice.
Fidelity for the quick response.
Yeah. No, they really were right on top of it. So glad to be back.
Well, it's wonderful to have you back. I know you've had a busy few weeks and you were excited to be back here on today's show. And again, for those tuning in, at Coffee with Kramer, Colleen, we're dedicated here to talking about real estate, lifestyle, and community, coming at you from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you're new to our show, do us a big favor. Hit the like button to let us know you're here. And also, if you're drinking a cup of coffee, take a selfie with your cup and put it down in the comments. So cheers to you. And it looks like you're a ray of bleeping sunshine this morning, Colleen.
Yeah, I bleeped it out because it's censored here. We're not R rated.
Yeah. So you probably saw yesterday I put up a little meme and it's gotten quite a few things, and it was this cat about
My gosh, that was so funny. That was funny.
there was a
That
picture
was
of a
funny.
cat that was like, what the bleep was that? What the bleep was that? And that was his way to go, okay, with everything going on, ladies and gentlemen, that cat neck and mine is hurting from all the news going on.
Right?
Exactly.
I've checked with many people, friends and family, sidebar, because we're on a really good mood this morning,
Yep.
but making sure everybody's safe and that it was COVID at first, and now it's kind of, it breaks my heart to see and hear what's going on. And to everyone out there that's affected, no matter what, I'm sorry. I feel badly for everybody. And please, the violence has got to quit. It just doesn't do us any good.
Yep.
It doesn't. So
There are no
we're
questions.
here.
Yeah, I know. We're not trying to.
Safe.
Today's not a soapbox day, and you know me. I've gotten on my soapbox on things now and again. But today's about hey, let's put some things in check in perspective about the whole thing. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. Not good. A lot of pain. A lot of issues. We're also under a lot of stress with staying at home with COVID. But we're smart and above that, and we can rise to our challenges. No, we've risen to them before. Some take longer than others. There's no doubt about it.
Well, and on a last note of it, I have a friend in another city that was doing the march, was doing the walks and the protests. And the sad part is they relayed back to me, this is not us. There are bricks on pallets being placed in strategic positions on the streets. There are gasoline and matches next to police cars, and you don't know who's put them there. And they're like, this is not what we were doing. That was not our desired effect. We weren't here to do this. So the hardest part for me at this point is, how do you bring everybody together and make this change if all this other is going on? So
right.
We could go for days, but it needs to be known that that is a friend of mine that basically is a very, very peaceful person that said, and by the way, a white person, it's not necessarily, you don't have to look at it and go, yeah, but it doesn't matter what color you are. There's people out there trying to make a point peacefully.
Yes.
And there's something behind the scenes that's just absolutely tearing it up.
It's
so
kind of nefarious.
It's pretty awful. So everybody out there, please be safe.
Absolutely.
Please.
Be safe, be healthy. And, there's also moments of amazement and greatness. And I think one of the things that happened this last week is, for the first time in almost 10 years, the United States launched from home soil 2 astronauts.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, and I watched the new spacesuits and their space capsule and the way they went about it, I mean, it was like a leap ahead. It was like a generation or 2 generations ahead leap in technology, look and feel. And it was just so cool to see that a private company. I mean, granted, people have built, Rockwell Aviation built the original space shuttle. There's general contractors out there, but this company was charged with building the whole, servicing, supplying, operations, the whole shooting match, just about, in partnership with NASA for SpaceX to accomplish what it did.
And it's pretty amazing. And it really was overshadowed, because that was a big deal. That should have been everybody gathering just to watch that, a focal point, because it's quite a feat. So cheers to us.
Absolutely.
On a good note.
So if there is a ray of bleeping sunshine, there you go.
Well, there is, and there's so many good things. That's the point. It's just, it's sad that this has to be, because this is big. So back to our little world over here.
In our humble little burg, we do have a few little notes today. So we've got a little restaurant news information here for downtown Summerlin. We got some big news coming up here as we move it. We're now into phase 2 here with the casinos reopening. A little more info on the Howard Hughes chairman and this in Tesla, and then also too about experts and what they say about COVID-19 and design of homes. Colleen, you've got something else to add to it too.
I'm trying to remember where we were.
Those nights thingies.
Oh, that. Yeah. Absolutely. I was going to just talk about our naming of our team in Henderson. Absolutely. And that whole thing getting going. And then I do want to end it with the Raiders Stadium, seeing it at night. So
okay,
it's pretty cool.
All right. So we'll pick those up there. So let's kind of first move on to the first bit of news here real quick. So Bardot Brasserie, I don't know if any of you have been there, Colleen. I'm not sure if you have. I mean, it's a wonderful restaurant, part of Michael Mina's group, who's renowned for what was originally Aqua, which is now Michael Mina at the Bellagio.
Mm-hmm.
His head chef, Josh Smith, has accepted a position as a chef partner at Andiron Steak and Sea up in downtown Summerlin. And Andiron Steak has been closed since last fall. They were going to be remodeling and updating the concept. So the fact that Josh Smith, a very talented chef, helming the back of the house at Andiron for downtown Summerlin is a big coup for us on us West Siders.
Yeah, well, We'd even go to the west side for that.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what the concept's going to be. I've heard some rumor news that they're going to be expanding the bar area because they were having a really successful happy hour. Think they were going to have a more focused menu around their steak selections, but again, that's still really yet to be determined. But Elizabeth Blau, who's a very known restaurateur, marketer, designer of restaurants going back to even the days of when the Wynn reopened and helping with those concepts, is undergoing this change on Andiron. And I believe, if I understand right, they were looking at an opening somewhere around the September period. So excited to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll have to check it out, Don.
Absolutely. You'll have to journey over here to the west side.
West side, I go.
There you go.
I'm not scared.
And moving on to the news, June 4th has been set for casinos beginning to reopen. So a lot of places, I don't know if all places will be opening, but I heard, the Mirage, Bellagio, MGM Grand, for sure. Caesars, I believe. Harrah's, I also believe they just completed a major remodel. A lot of the station properties, Wynn, Encore, will be coming back online this Friday, June 4th.
Very nice.
This
will be interesting.
This will be interesting. This will be exciting.
Yeah, get us back to whatever normal is.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever normal is today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For the next little bit. Let's see what happens.
So the casinos here, they've noted, will only be open at 50% capacity, and will need to limit the number of people on the casino floor. There'll be a lot of hand sanitizing available for visitors, frequent hand washing by staff, cleaning of machines and table games and other fixtures and facilities, and social distancing. So it'll be interesting to see what the final result will be on the gaming floor when they reopen this weekend.
Didn't they say something as well about the temperature check because we get so warm? I thought I read something that they were going to do a second temperature check because you can walk in and be too hot. So there's a whole thing they're trying to figure out, how do we determine temperature? Because it's 110 outside. You know what I mean? So when you walk in, your body's giving off some heat.
Right, exactly.
And that's those sensors. It's not a real internal temperature gauge. So there's all sorts of stuff they're trying to figure out at the doors, and how there may be two separate sections if somebody seems to. I don't know how they're going to do that, but they're making it as safe as I can possibly think they could. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty comfortable with the way that it's going. It may be overkill for a minute, but I'm really glad that they're leaning towards let's push too much and then see if we can back off, as opposed to come on in.
Exactly. It'll be easier to up the capacities, up the interactions if things are pointing in the right direction, rather than trying to ratchet it down some more. So,
but you and I have had a lot of friends that have said that don't live here can't wait for those things that we want to get back to Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I see it on the news and I see it on shows.
Yep.
Vegas is always somewhere that they go, and Vegas is going to be opening soon, or Vegas will be back. So we have tons and tons of people that just want to come back. And so I think they're doing the right thing by making people comfortable.
I think so. And then too, we're a little bit further ahead than I'd say, Southern Cal. And Southern Cal is our number one feeder market to Las Vegas for drive-in tourism, especially this time of the year. Now, some things will remain closed, like the nightclubs and day club pool parties. Those will remain closed for the time being, although pools will reopen with seating and social distancing in mind. So we're not going to be fully up to speed, but you know what? It's gonna, a lot of people are still enjoying just getting out and about.
It's a necessary thing just to get back to some kind of feel and figure it out. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm glad to see there's an opening of sorts to just bringing people back and the life back to our city.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is actually that's a big we're talking national news here with reopening, but also in national news. I'm not sure if you've seen this or not, Colleen, but the CEO of Hughes is touting Summerlin as a possible Tesla headquarters relocation.
You made me aware of that in brief, and oh my gosh, I'm so for it. I can't even stand it. It's talk to me about it, or talk to everybody about it, because you've got some great videos, etc. on it, and yay.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so this came from Bill Ackman. Now, Bill Ackman is he is a big league fund manager, and his fund, one of the funds he oversees, has over a third stake in Howard Hughes Corporation. So as CEO, Ackman had reached out to Elon Musk to speak to various Howard Hughes properties in the United States that could fit Tesla's requirements. Summerlin being one, also the Woodlands, and then there's in Houston, just outside Houston, Texas, and another community just in the Dallas area, I believe, too.
All three master plans.
And they're looking apparently for about 100 acres.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Summerlin can fit that, or if Summerlin needed to, I'm sure they could work on readjusting some of the positioning of some of the acreage. But in a tweet, Bill Ackman said to Elon Musk, take a look at our Summerlin, Las Vegas community, closer to Giga, Nevada, which is the Reno Giga plant. Great outdoor life in Red Rock Canyon. And in case you change your mind about owning a home, as a lot of other people know, Elon's selling all of his homes in Southern Cal. You would like our Discovery Land joint venture, the Summit Club here in Summerlin.
No kidding.
Yes.
He would like that.
He would like that. Yes.
It is a nice place. Yes. It's beautiful.
It's a nice place. Although Elon is such a unique character onto his own right. You never know.
Again, yes, I'm probably speaking for myself, vicariously living through him. Maybe I don't know. It is a pretty place, though.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of other options. As far as in Summerlin, he doesn't have to live in there, but he can bring a lot of people to Summerlin, and it's a very nice place to live.
Well, and Elon has some involvement in Las Vegas, with the Boring Company. That was the tunnels, and then it was also, there was discussion. They were doing some of the Hyperloop testing a few years ago. So Las Vegas is no stranger to Elon.
Yeah.
Now,
and hopefully he wants to do more.
Absolutely. And so, Nevada being close proximity to California for talent and engineers. And that's shown well in the new Gigafactory up in Reno. So it would be exciting if they look at Las Vegas. And it's great that Howard Hughes Properties is continuing to market to big corporations like Tesla to bring. We're talking. This would be landing this would be a game changer for Las Vegas with regards to manufacturing diversity, talent pool, jobs.
I love the talent pool part. I really do, just because we need the diversity, and in that diversity comes, besides the fact that I just see more people working in places, but from home as well, and we're a place you can do that too.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not just casinos.
Exactly, exactly. It's not just casinos, and I know at some point in time there's most likely going to be a gigafactory in Texas. But you know what? Two gigafactories, or even just the headquarters here in Las Vegas and the gigafactory in Reno, um, would say a lot. Because if we go back a few years, um, Governor Sandoval at the time was probably one of the more progressive governors with regards to car electrification, autonomous vehicles, things of that nature, drones and such that
Hmm.
fit what Tesla's doing.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's the I think the atmosphere here would be one that fits
Yep.
what the purpose or the goal of Tesla is.
And Elon, I know you're selling your $30 million house as a FISBO. So when you get that in contract, give Colleen and I a call. We'll pick you up and take you over to the summit to go check it out.
Well, first we'll chat and see what his needs are, and
That's our
if we have,
yeah.
yeah.
Whether you're up for Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, or if you've invented yet another online social communication, we'll do a buyer's consultation first and
That
make
is
sure
correct.
make sure we're all square.
Don't want to waste your time, so we'll get to know what we need, and then we'll do it from there. So
And
it's
and
perfect,
likewise.
right? Oh, and very true, very very true, of course.
Well, you brought up some interesting comments about the work at home, Colleen.
Yeah,
And there was an article here in the RJ about COVID changing design of homes.
yeah, yeah. And kind of expect it
Mm-hmm.
because word on the street. I mean, I've heard it that people are leaving the crowded cities and moving to places where they'll have space because of this. First of all, working from home. Second of all, the COVID thing. Now we have walking trails, but you want to have a space you can go in your backyard. You want to have a house big enough that you can office yourself and homeschool your kids if you need to. It's changed now. I mean, just like all the RVs and the things that are going on with people are doing more together
Yes.
in smaller spaces. So you kind of go, okay, where's the best place for me? I don't have to be close to any big city anymore. I can do everything just like you and I are doing it right now. What is my home going to provide for me to take the place of all the other things I needed to have?
Absolutely, absolutely. And to your point, Colleen, they cited in the article less interest in urban high-rise living and more interest in suburban areas with privacy, greater open spaces. Big winners of that will be master planned communities, considered to be safer, more controlled
Yeah.
environments with a sense of community.
And there it is. I mean, if you think about it, the clients that we have,
Yep.
okay, we have a client that's a pilot that's been, what, furloughed for a little bit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So when speaking with them and finding out how they're doing, they had a new baby, they have 3 dogs. He loves where he lives. He lives up in a master plan community in Summerlin.
Yes.
The trails were all there. He said he absolutely is so happy he decided to buy, or they decided to buy there, because when purchasing that home, they did purchase a house that had, remember that massive room that we're like, wow, you could make this a second nursery.
Oh,
Guess
absolutely.
what? Now it is something that is functional in today's world, and he can get outside anytime he wants to, but he can also have a yard that he can stay with his family and still have some space. So it all makes sense. Times that by like 4, but
Absolutely. Well, and two, in this article, they talked about not just luxury buyers, but new home buyers. There's
yeah,
there was probably a sense that new home purchases weren't going to be as strong as the resale market. However, with COVID, there's been probably a couple of changes here. One, the incentives right now in new home sales are really good. I mean, best we've seen in probably a couple of years now. So we're
yeah.
talking really low interest rates. They're supplementing some interest rates, long lock periods, so you can lock in during your build time. Also incentives in options and smart home packages, because what they're saying is that COVID with the new home, for better or worse, it's a sense of being cleaner, being
Uh,
healthier.
mhm,
So
mhm. Well, and that's like the listing we did. Remember, it was like freshly painted, freshly carpeted. Everything was steam cleaned, the tile.
Yep.
And that was to COVID compliant. We replaced sinks. Not that you have to. They were older sinks. And we're like, okay, this would be better for your resale. And thank goodness the sellers said yes. But the point is, yes, people look at new and go, okay, it's modern, it's new, and it probably is, and I'm using finger quotes, a safer or cleaner environment. Not that it always is, but that is a feeling.
Yeah, no question. I mean, and there are factors for newer homes. I mean, building codes, materials, and there's always improvements, even every few years. Windows,
Oh, sure.
HVAC systems, things are more efficient than they were 20 years ago, and those were more efficient than the 20 years prior.
Correct, yeah. And I think we're going to see a lot more hard floors.
Yes, a lot more hard floors. Also, too, because of the houses nowadays, they're designed for all this smart home, Internet of Things technology. Thermostats connected to your smartphone, camera systems, the television system. All those things are now at the touch of your smartphone rather than. I remember I was the remote control back in the late 70s and early 80s when the parents said, "Hey, turn from 3 to 5."
Right, exactly. It's funny because if you think back on it, it's like the evolution of the cell phone, only different.
Yep.
We have now, you can turn the oven on when you're close enough to home to preheat so that you can, you know what I mean? It's just, there's just everything you can think of. You don't have to be there to do.
Absolutely. And too, while homes can be retrofitted, a lot of the new home designs, as you're well aware, Colleen, are we've had the big sliders out here that have been incorporated into a lot of homes. 12 to 16 feet. What did we look at one this weekend? This is a 40-foot motorized pocketed slider.
That was amazing. It was amazing. It was pretty amazing.
It was.
Just from the old little, the cell phone said, okay, go. And this slider and it was big, but it was so gorgeous. That was really gorgeous.
Yeah. And so really kind of building that indoor-outdoor seamless effect.
Mm-hmm. No, there's a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that resale isn't going to still be good, but they're coming up with some pretty nice things to put in the new homes to reflect today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything changed, and this is now a different way of doing things.
No question. And with the offices, we go through models and we might see an office and there's a pretty little glass desk in the middle with the chair. But that, that's kind of in the model versus the practicality of space. And apparently I was reading from a couple of people in that article too. They were saying, okay, well, now we may have needs for 2 offices because of the gig economy or because of maybe both members of the household having some part-time work from home. So dual office spaces, larger office spaces to include storage, room for printers, maybe even a couch or a chair to kind of have a relax area, more so than just a desk.
Yeah, the desk, and I read that, and you and I kind of talked about it a little bit. The idea before was it was a novel idea, or it was kind of an extra. You had a little place for, when you wanted to do your bills, or you needed to catch up on something on a Saturday night, or, you were working some extra hours at home, not going into the office, or brought it home from the office. Now it's the office.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the office.
Exactly.
So you
it's
need
a designated
space. Yes. It's not surprising that they would incorporate that now, and people will relate to it. Whereas if you go back as long as I've been in the business, which, blow dust off me, basically, if they had an office, it was like, that's such a waste of space. Why couldn't you just put a desk in the kitchen? Do you remember when we had those little desks in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah.
Where you did your bills.
The little desk.
The
little chair to write the little bills, which were never really little.
No, but you just threw things in drawers.
Right.
And then, and you might have a little envelope holder or something on it. But now, no, and you're going to see some really creative, innovative ideas for office space in new homes.
So what I'm curious about too, Colleen, is the last couple of years, especially with millennials. Millennials are now our biggest buying cohort. Um, there's been a downward trend in total amount of square footage. With COVID and these new requirements, will we see an increase in average square foot sale?
Feeling mine, yes. Yes, there'll still be a need for the smaller ones. There are people that don't want children, aren't ready for children, have got rid of their children. You know, I mean,
Right.
there's always going to be that. But I think for the growing families and the things that are coming in the future, yeah, we're going to go back to we need space.
Yeah.
We just need space, and I don't want it to be box, box, box. You know, so that's the luxury is going to be, can we have enough space to feel I mean, but they've done it in New York forever. If you think about it, in smaller spaces, they've managed to raise children.
Right.
It's just, you don't have to spend as much and you can have more space when you come to a place like Las Vegas because of just the way our city is. So I think that the builders will put in more space because people will want it.
Yep. So there'll be a need for more. I mean, they're also talking about other items such as, multi-gen spaces. That was kind of it's kind of been popular with a couple builders. I know Lennar's done some stuff. Toll's done some stuff. I believe Pulte to some degree. Now, that probably will be more across more product lines too.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, I mean, one of the sad situations with COVID has been the ravaging of the assisted care facilities.
Mm-hmm.
And too, also with elderly just being isolated now versus now we can have mom and dad that are late in life here at home where they're still part of the family unit and community, but they have facilities for themselves to enjoy at the house.
It's having like a mini forever home
Right.
at your house. That and if you can do it, and I think they will incorporate, like you said, we saw Toll Brothers, we saw Pulte's, we've seen Richmond American. They've incorporated this as a yoga studio / would you like it to be a casita, an in-laws quarters? How do you want this particular space? And so the idea is if you start out with, because one of our clients that purchased at Richmond American, they start out with the exercise room, et cetera, but the understanding was there may be something in the future. So they plumbed it.
Yep.
So it's ready to be turned into a place that if mom and dad or something happens, they're ready for it.
Well, that's a great point, Colleen, is building flexibility into the house. I think that's something, whether it's a developer like a Toll, like a Richmond, Pulte, and so on and so forth, or a custom builder, is to when you're kind of going down that path, think about how can you build some flexibility into this house you're building, because you've said yourself, I think this comes from your husband, I mean, designing a house is a series of compromises.
And, as is everything.
What's that?
As is everything.
As is everything, yeah, exactly. And so those compromises could be, okay, well, like, what, we're going to build this. It's going to be our gym, yoga space now, but we're plumbed for it in case we need to convert this into a office later, or like you said, a guest suite for family members for extended stay. So but they're not pigeonholed into one design.
So a question I have for future show, and we'll go off forever, possibly we could get some of our new home people to come on the show and talk about their options and the directions they see people going and all the things that are available, because I think that would be, for me, I'd love to sit down and just go,
yes.
Okay, where, what do you see?
So we've already reached out.
Yay!
So we're sizing up some dates with some of our favorite builders.
Yay!
Talk about some of the plans and designs, because I think it's important. I mean, I know this sounds silly, but you think about it. Let's say you had 2 working professionals, 2 children, mom and or dad retired.
Mm-hmm.
So you now have 6 people under roof.
Mm-hmm.
So you need at minimum 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, possibly 2 separate living areas, maybe 2 offices, and then also too, because of wellness is, health and wellness, even in COVID, is important. So a space to work out, meditate, stretch, get on the treadmill. You and I, let's get our Pelotons in. Then outdoor spaces. We could, a 3,000 square foot home is not out of the ordinary for that requirement.
And there's probably designs too that even go the 24 to 26 that you can get because they're really good about space.
Yeah.
And then if you have a casita or something added that's not connected, you're back up again. You're back up to 3,000. So, yeah.
Yeah, and to your point, like those types of spaces too, if you get efficient with storage, like let's say a Murphy bed, something like that you don't need it all the time, but it could be a sleeping space in the evening, but workspace during the day.
Yeah. So we'll talk with them. I'm excited that you've done that. Thank you for doing that while I was out and about and running around and doing silly things.
Well, we're both running around with our clients, but we're always kind of looking forward to answer questions for people here on the show. So, Colleen, you said you had a couple of items about the new Silver Knights from the Henderson Silver Knights, as well.
I want to throw this out there. At first I was a little bit. How do I feel about them being Silver Knights because I live in Henderson versus Golden Knights? And then you made a comment, which I'd like you to repeat because it's pretty funny,
right.
Which made me feel okay. Okay, we're not making them feel less than. But I'd love to hear everybody else's opinion. I love the Silver Knights. I love the logo. I love everything they're doing in Henderson. I was sticking up for our guys.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Well, as we know, this is AHL hockey, so this is sort of the farm club. But what's cool is the farm club is here in the valley, so that ability to I'm not fully up to speed on how hockey works with regards to moving people up and down through the farm club system as I am, let's say, baseball. So my apologies out there if somebody would want to explain that in the comments, by all means.
Or come on our show.
Come on our
show. I would love
away.
major lessons in hockey. That would be fun.
Exactly. So having the team here is terrific. But the Silver Knights, I know you were feeling like, okay, well it's kind of like silver medal, but
and they are. I know.
The key is too, Nevada is the silver state.
And that was perfect for me. I feel all better. Besides that, what was your other team that you were talking about that you said that at least they're not named the? Who was your team that you said that? I'm trying to remember what you said the name of the team was because it cracked me up.
Which one's that?
I'm trying. It was in passing, and it was just. At least they're not named the.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I would say my sport that I've kind of grew up with was baseball. So I'm a big Detroit Tigers fan, and the Tigers for a long time, their AAA team, which is not very far away from Detroit, however it is right across the border in Ohio, are the Toledo Mud Hens.
And it made me giggle because I always thought they were called Mud Heads. And I used to say, look at the Mud Heads, and they'd all laugh at me and my family, and I had no idea what they were saying. And I thought it was because they went under and got mud on their head.
No.
But they go underwater.
No.
So it made me feel all better about our Silver Knights. Exactly. I love it.
Exactly. So, and it was cool with, they were explaining how the logo, they've got the H incorporated into the horse's head, the golden eyes for the Golden Knights, lots of
the logo was pretty cool.
Things integrated, and sort of the play off of the two, Henderson and Vegas. That's way cool. Really good on the organization for putting forward another great franchise and brand here for the city.
Yeah, it was. And it actually, as I was being, facetious when I said, I don't know how I feel about being second, just because you're always touting Summerlin and I'm always touting Henderson. So, here we go. We're just as good.
Exactly.
But speaking of unbelievable, and we'll leave on this note, I did get to see a picture of the Raiders stadium at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool looking. I know it looked like a big, it's no offense to anybody, hockey puck sitting out there when it was being built, because it was just black and round, but they've done, it's going to be phenomenal. It makes a statement.
It does. I mean, it is sleek. It is sharp. I mean, the color scheme, with the Raiders, I mean, it plays well. And I know there's some out there. I don't know if you've seen the meme where they put like the tank next to it and say, this is the new stadium, like a toilet bowl.
I know.
Well, let me just put it out there to you. I'm not the biggest Raiders fan. However, there are those people that have NFL teams, and there's those cities that don't.
All right, they pushed you to snobbery.
That's all I need to say. So,
it's awesome.
It's a cool looking facility. I know it's expensive, and I know there's been a lot of controversy about the bonds and everything. And that being said, our need for a facility like that here in Las Vegas is I feel strongly is very different than other cities. We're a place of events and venues, and I get it. I know COVID is like, okay, well, how's that going to help this stadium? I said, well, you know what? It doesn't help a lot of things, air travel, you name it, so on and so forth, and it just doesn't impact Las Vegas. However, having a facility like that has the seating capacity as large as it is, conveniently located in Las Vegas, is a game changer for our city with regards to how it plays out on not just the national stage but the international stage. And I'll give you a few examples. 2028 Olympics coming up, right? LA. And I believe there's going to be a share with LA and Mexico. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. But you never know. They may need extra stadium capacity. And those Olympics sometimes reach out pretty far, just a couple 100 miles. Things of that nature. The NFL draft, we got it canceled. It's back online again. Most likely we're going to have a Super Bowl here. And imagine what a Super Bowl is going to be in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
At some point in time, the United States is going to be awarded a World Cup again. And Las Vegas could be another host city. So it puts us into the decision bucket that it's never been in before.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does.
Yeah. It's
legitimate. It's real.
Yeah.
Not that T-Mobile isn't, because that's pretty awesome for our Golden Knights.
It's a fabulous place. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I give kudos to it. So I like it.
Absolutely.
And I like what it could do for us. I mean, I know we have COVID to get around first, but we'll find a way of doing things in the way we did them, only different. That's what it is.
Absolutely. We're a resilient bunch, fortunately we do have the ability to walk and chew gum at the same time. You look at, you and I started off this segment with a lot of not so good things, but we ended it with, we put man back in space again.
That's so awesome.
Or Americans back in space. Other countries were doing it, but we're back, boys and girls.
We put ourselves back in space again, and that is, again, the best, which tells us there's nothing we can't do.
No, if we put our mind to it.
Yeah. So that's what we need to do today.
Exactly. So, you know what, ladies and gentlemen out there, put your mind to it. Put your mind to what you want to do. We're going to put our minds to finishing our cup of coffees.
Right.
And so we have now later on this week in the show, tomorrow, Colleen, I'm not sure if your schedule will allow us to catch up on it or not, but Melissa Despy from Nevada State Bank is going to be here to give us the changing at the minute mortgage market update.
Nice. Okay. I have an 8:30, just so you know, an 8:30 walk. If I can make it, I will be there.
So tomorrow, though, we're moving it back to 9:30 because I have a 9:30 meeting with our handyman on a repair request on one of our places we have in escrow.
Okay, good.
So we start at 10:30 for tomorrow's Coffee with Cramer, Colleen, just everyone out there.
Okay, so 10:30 tomorrow, which is what I had, so that's good. Okay.
And then Wednesdays are market update.
Yes, that'll be interesting.
Thursday and Friday, we're kind of sizing up a couple of guest items, but we also, you and I probably, if available, we'll talk about a little bit of house tips or things of that nature, or other news and information we missed today.
Perfect.
Colleen, great to see you here online today.
I love it.
Everyone's kind of wondered, hey, where's she been? Here she is.
I'm here.
Here she is. Cheers to you. And on behalf of the Cramer Group, I'm Don Cramer.
I'm Colleen Schaefer.
And we are with Urban Nest Realty. And if you have any questions about buying, selling, or investing in Las Vegas real estate, reach out to us by instant message, direct message, give us a call. It's on our Facebook page. Shoot us an email or visit our website at buysellrealestate.vegas, because more now than ever, your real estate experience matters. Till next time, have a wonderful Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.